don't make us who we are. So I'll dream until I make it real, and all I see is.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mentorship Mondays with Michelle and Maren. It's good to see you guys.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Hi, Frozen Me. Every time. Oh, there we go. I'm back. So today is really exciting because we've now had a little bit of time since we had that, I guess what we called a contest or an offering that we did to share about the Akashic Records. And Veronica, Veronica, right? Am I getting that right?
Yes, Veronica.
Okay, Veronica. Sorry, Veronica. Veronica, she was our lucky contestant that got the question answered from the Akashic Records. And just to make sure everybody knows, Veronica is okay with us sharing this. So we made sure, that whatever she was going to ask about, that it would be okay to share it in this. And Maren and I have not disclosed what each other got. So, we've talked briefly about a few pieces, and I'll share those pieces with you right now, which is
Do you want me to read her question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Her question is, I had such a difficult time learning in school and still feel incompetent and dyslexic. Where does this come from and why?
Which is an awesome question. And the information that has come out, and this is what I think is absolutely amazing and such a great teaching tool and learning for both Maren and I, and for everyone else, I hope as well, which is we're going to be given exactly whatever is aligned for us to perceive for whatever reasons to be able to share with Veronica and everybody. And Maren and I were given slightly different information, but with the same, and we don't have each other's details, but we know that there's a common, foundation, I guess, to the answer. And what I had just shared with Maren and she with myself is that we would get these certain pieces, and then when we went to go look at the other part, it wasn't available. And I was thinking, okay, Maren must have that other part. And Maren was thinking, Michelle must have that other part. And it was interesting because when I went into meditation and I asked for the information, and I actually had a couple of experiences because it took me a couple days. The first time I went in, I was getting a lot of visuals of a man. And we'll get into a little bit more of that because now that makes sense why I was getting this. And then the second time, the rest of it came in. But it's so interesting because, when you go in to get your information, you're going to get what you get. And I could maybe ask in many different ways, and I'm still going to get the same information because that's just the way it is. You can't push spirit around or push the energy around and say, I want it this way, or I want to hear this. It's receiving and trusting that what we're getting is going to be perfect and exactly what Veronica needs to hear to help her move forward. So Maren, maybe you want to share your experience first and what you got, and then
Sure.
I'll share mine and we'll fill in the blanks and see where it goes.
Sure. Okay. So, what I did flash on like two different lifetimes. One was, it seemed more like Greek Roman, like ancient, and then one seemed more before there was electricity, when people wore, I saw this man and he had like the khaki pants on, where like they kind of come up high and they stop like mid-calf. So I feel like there's a huge time period of that attire. So I don't quite know exactly where in the time period that was, but anyways, so I saw her and she lived with this very tall, bald man. He was very tall, broad shoulders, and she just seemed so small compared to him and like meek. And I don't know if maybe she was his daughter because I didn't see any children around. Um, but it had to do with the fact she couldn't read in that lifetime.
Mm.
Mainly because she was a woman, and women were not taught to read during that lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And but he was very manipulative about it. Like, she desired to read, and he was very manipulative about it. Like, you don't have the intellectual capabilities to learn how to read because you're a woman. And like, she would sneak off, and like, he had this big book by a window, and she would sneak off and like try to figure it out, and he would catch her and he'd laugh at her like, I can't believe you think that you could learn all those words.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you think your brain can hold that? I mean, I'm sure they didn't say brain, but like, you think that you could know that many words? Look at how many words are on that page. So he's very emotionally abusive and manipulative about her desire to learn how to read. And then I saw her like going off with the women, and it was really interesting. They were doing some kind of chore where they went like this. They had something in their hands, and they were going like this, and they were kind of like over the like animal pen.
Mm.
And she was like really discouraged, and she was talking to them about that. And they really just kind of shot her down even more, even though they were trying to be helpful. Like, why do you need to learn how to read? Like, it's okay. Like, you know, we're too busy for that anyways. Just leave that to the men. And so, like, everywhere she went, she got like shot down, and she felt very isolated and very like lonely from like this desire and this like dream of this other really like life she wanted for herself that I think that reading would provide her. Like, she was in a rural community. I think she really had like dreams of going to like the city,
Mm-hmm.
but she knew that reading is what she needed to be able to go to the city, and she couldn't. And anyways, and so the women like kind of just still made her feel like powerless and like trapped in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took her, it made her like self-worth, made her like feel like she wasn't worthy of reading, and made her feel powerless. And the powerless and like the self-worth is what I like really picked up on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I heard a guide during this say, to know you are powerful is to be powerful. And when you are powerful, you will achieve anything. And I feel like that's a concept from that life that needs to be passed on to this life.
Mm-hmm.
And in that life, she didn't know she was powerful. But in this life, she can know that she's powerful, and she can know that she can read if she so desires to, because she's worthy of reading. And I know that this is the other thing too. I've seen you in this life. You can read. You're fine. You just like crossword puzzles bother you. Scrabble, like, you know, and like I see like a fear of reading in public. Like, I see like a lot of people, and you're afraid to read in public, but you can read. It's just, you know, it's that like higher level, like
Yeah.
it's one of your struggles. Like, we all have struggles.
Right.
And I feel like in this life, what happened was, so I saw you like sitting in class, and there's a boy that was sitting next to you, and that totally could be like, that brought up those memories, but he was a really good reader, and that like really made you feel really insecure.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think that he teased you, although he may have, but I just feel like it was this sense of insecurity that there was this boy that was a better reader. Um, and I saw you like got your first like chapter book, like, you know, Junie B. Jones, or like one of those like super girly books, and you went to go read it, and you were super excited, but then it was a struggle. And so you put it away, and you're like, I can't do that. And so there's that like self-worth, like, I can't do this. I'm not worthy of like sitting here and sounding it all out and figuring it all out. And it's just, I'm just putting it away. Like, I'm not good enough for that. And, and so, let's see, what else did I write? Yeah, I'm not. So what I feel like is, if you say things like, I am worthy of allowing myself the time to enhance my reading skills, that will really help you. If you like help bring in your self-worth, like, I am worthy of allowing myself time to enhance my reading skills, because you can read, you just need to enhance them. That's all. Just so that there's no reason to feel insecure. Like, you can
Mm-hmm.
improve anything. Like, when you are powerful, you can achieve anything, and you are powerful. Um, But here's a really crazy story, Michelle. So,
I love
I'm a
it when
speech
you say that.
pathologist. So this is like the divine timing, which I think is like super cool.
Yeah.
I did not read her question until right before, because I think I even texted you because she gave you the question. And so it wasn't until like I was ready to meditate. I was like, oh wait, I don't have her question. What's her question?
Right, right.
Um, but this, I'm a speech pathologist. I have to do continuing education hours. So I took this um, attention deficit mastery course, and it's like 18 hours long. It's really long. And I took like a few hours, like back like a few months ago when I got the course, when I bought the course. And then finally this week, I had time to finish the course.
Of all the
And the
weeks.
guy was of all the weeks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the man teaching the course, he was this brilliant doctor. He's like one of those people that can just be like, and from this book, this author said this, and from this study, this person said this, and they knew this, and you're just like, how can you retain all that information? But he said that he was in a case, and there was this child who had dyslexia, and he was older, and he recommended it's called Mega Words, MEGA Words curriculum. And he said, I recommended the Mega Words curriculum to this boy. You can buy it on Amazon. You get the student book and the teacher book, and they kind of like correspond, go together. And then after the meeting, the dad went up to him and said, like, I kind of struggle to read. Like sometimes reading is difficult for me too. What can I do? And he said, "You do the same thing. Do the Mega Words curriculum." So it's for fourth grade to adult, and it teaches you the patterns of the words. And like honestly, I feel like we all struggle with that. As a speech pathologist, they don't teach you. They teach you about like we're like masters of reading comprehension and things like that. But like actual like, this sound plus this sound equals this word. Like they don't teach us that in school. That's not our area. And I was in charge of like it's called response to intervention. So kids that are kind of like at the low level reading, they come to like all the specialists at the end of the day, and we all teach them to read, kind of like give them some like extra intervention time. And I remember going like, you want me to teach them to read? Like, I don't know how to do this. But they gave us like a little curriculum. And two, it's just funny when you're an adult. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, I think I was the memorizer, the word memorizer,
Yes,
like
yes.
just I know that the word that looks like that and it says that and whatnot. And I think it improved so much when I learned the patterns of the words. It really increased my reading fluency as an adult. So,
Yeah.
so I highly recommend that. I think that is very divine timing that of all days, I finished this 18-hour, continuing ed.
Yeah.
So
Huge synchronicity, and absolutely by,
yeah,
no coincidence, because
yeah.
that's really what this is all about. And I think that's amazing. And what I was just saying earlier, when I was saying how Maren and I were like, okay, well, you got one part and then maybe I got another part. It's interesting that you say that, because I didn't get really anything. I mean, I did get some energetic, which I'll share, some energetic responses of how to go forward, but I never got a solution or something tangible to do. And I went to reach for it. And that's why I was saying, you can ask and reach, but if it's not there and you're not getting it, then it's not. And so I think that's really amazing that happened, because it's very meant to be. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. And so how long would you say that your meditation was? Like,
I don't know. I didn't look at the time. It might have been like 30 minutes,
yeah,
maybe 40 minutes.
yeah,
It was, yeah, probably.
yeah. I think that's about what I did too, around the same. Um, so it's interesting that you'd say about the man, and because when you describe the man with the beige pants and pushed up, that's exactly what I saw, was beige
Oh, wow.
pants And I wasn't sure. So I saw this over 2 different days. And the first day, I was getting the image of the man. And I saw the man holding flowers at one point, and then I saw him like holding a broken plate and cup, like had gone from one type of energy or behavior to another. And I
Okay.
wasn't sure what time frame it was or anything, because really that's all I got in that day was the image of that man and not a lot of description around it. So when I went in on the second day, this is where things were a bit more detailed. And so where we started is they took me to the origin. So, and this is typical for how I get information for a lot of things, is I go right to the energetic origin. So they took me to the origin, and the origin actually is in the Pleiades, and it has to do with your soul and the way that your soul communicates, in which a lot of us outside of the physical realm or in our extraterrestrial roots is a lot of telepathic communication. And also,
Can I
um,
tell you too? Sorry,
yeah,
when I just like when you sent me the text and I just read it, like the first thing I got was like, but she has other strengths. Like
oh, yes,
her strengths are, like it's okay. You just have other strengths.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly, and that is exactly how they explained it to me. Now I'll add this part. They didn't say this, but I know this from my own experiences that, including myself, many, many, many highly intuitive people that perceive energy and that feel energy um, are labeled as dyslexic. And it has to do with how we perceive. And so it's a very common to have that intuitive and that emotional and those other senses completely amped up. It can make reading and words and numbers and those types of things can make them a little more challenging. So they did share that with me. They showed me that is the root. So that is the blueprint of your soul. So you do have a lot of healing, intuitive and empathic energy. So the lifetime that they showed me was they brought me right into what looked to me to be Iron Age, medieval times. I don't know exactly what year it is. But in this lifetime, your hair was red. It was very long and red, very, very beautiful. And you were affluent. So your family, and a man came forward again, and this man was father, showed up as father, and you were blind in this lifetime. And so being blind, the challenges that they showed me was that you were not, and at that time, education for women was not present. It was like the women had these type of jobs and the men had these type of jobs. And because you were in an affluent family, there was some teaching, because I want to say royalty because it felt very royal. It was more about presentation of how you behave, who you were with, and so there was maybe some focus on pronunciation of some words, but you never connected the visually the letters to the speech.
Can I tell you?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I told you, I can remember on air, off air, I said I I feel like it got cut off, and then that's where I feel like you picked up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the life I picked up on first was this very like gray, like rural, like we're in like the rural outfits. Then all of a sudden I saw her at the end of it riding in a wagon, and she had this beautiful floral dress on.
Yes.
And I was like,
Yes.
there's no way that that girl would be able to afford that dress. Like it was gorgeous. It was so colorful and the
Yeah.
flowers on it were so intricate. And I was like, that's not the same life.
No.
And I kept trying to like push to see this life,
Yeah.
and I couldn't see it. I did see her in a beautiful ball gown
Yes.
and in like a big room. And
Yes.
I did kind of feel that feeling of like insecurity because like
Yes.
I can't read and all these wealthy people can, but I knew it wasn't connected to that life. And
Yes.
I couldn't go any further. That's so
Right.
crazy.
Yes.
Wow. So
That's
you got
exactly.
it. You got the
And
second half.
I
Okay.
did see ball gowns. I did see events, and there were sisters in this lifetime, or they could have been, they could have been friends, but they felt like sisters that were leading you over to meet gentlemen. Like there were these well-dressed men that were on this other side, and you were being led over to them. But what was so interesting that I picked up on was this man in this lifetime, which felt to be father and did not accept you. That you being blind was an issue for him. There was not compassion. And I do feel that there is a similar energy to the man in the lifetime that you explained as well. So as we're talking about it, because it's very seamless feeling from one to the
Mm-hmm.
other, and that this was driven home to you, and throughout all these lifetimes, it is not uncommon for us to have these challenges that our soul hones in on, to have the life lesson of self-acceptance and empowerment and accepting what is. And of course you have the power to do anything, and to be able to speak, write, read, and be absolutely free and sovereign is your right, no matter what your challenge is. And this one really was about acceptance, and that's a lot of what comes into this lifetime, is accepting exactly as you are and seeing that there's a reason why that's there. There's a purpose, and you do have, Veronica, abilities that are enhanced, and you know that you're intuitive, and you know that you've had experiences, and you're with us, and watching these videos and sharing with us on a regular basis about your feelings and experiences and everything too. So I mean, it's something that is a power for you. And we often go through these experiences through more than one lifetime where we feel disempowered with these different things that we come in with, or experiences, or other people that come into this lifetime that show us that we're not good enough, so that we can then say, but yes, I am. That we can take that power back. And that's what these lifetimes truly show.
Yeah.
And
Taking the
so
power back.
taking the
To
power
know you
back.
are powerful
That's
is to
right.
be powerful. And when you are powerful, you will achieve anything.
Perfect. That's perfect. And that is the truth of all of this, is to say that there really is nothing wrong with you. It's what's right with you. And it would be like saying to anyone, well, guess what, you came in this lifetime and you don't know how to read music very well, and this person here and this person here and this person here can play the piano like a magisto, but you can't. And you then say, but I love the piano, but I want to play the piano. And so can you learn how to play the piano? Maybe you didn't come in naturally with a heightened ability to play, but you can learn to play. And anything that you desire, that you have in your heart, you can do. And what I get from this is you're limitless. And don't let this hold you back, but also take this information that Maren and I have given you today and allow that to empower you, to give you an explanation of where that came from. Where did that start out? Why has this come into my life at this time, or into this lifetime? And where else did it show up? And that's, again, the amazing part of the Akash, is being able to step into all of these different lifetimes and these different realities that you've experienced, to be able to squeeze out the goodness. And the goodness is pure acceptance and amazement, because you are exactly the way that you're meant to be. That's cool. That's
That
really
is
good.
so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And I love how we were given that information. And of course, our higher selves and the spirits that assisted us with this information knew exactly what we were doing with it, and what and
That is
why.
so
So
cool that we both came in saying, I know you have the other half. I know you have the other half.
yeah,
And like it did show itself in the reading that you really did have the other half. That
yeah,
is so cool.
yeah. It definitely is.
That is really
So,
cool.
so that's our show for today, and this is dedicated to you, Veronica. So thank you for playing with
Yeah,
us,
thank you
and
for letting us share.
yeah,
Yeah.
letting us share. And Maren, I had fun doing this. I know you did too. It was really interesting.
Oh, I love the dresses and the like, it's so cool to
Yeah,
see. And like, there's so many things that are so authentic. Like, I want to know what in the world is this
yeah,
chore?
yeah,
Like what were the women doing? I don't know. And like,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
dress was so pretty and like, I love
It
that.
was
It's so
beautiful. It
cool.
was beautiful. You could definitely tell that there was royalty or a lot of affluence of some sort, because the you could the material, like the material of the dress, like the quality of it, the like the details that came through, like the sun shining through the windows. There was just
Wow.
was a lot of intensity to it. So
Yeah,
yeah, a lot of fun.
that's beautiful.
All right,
Well, thank you,
guys.
everyone.
Thank you.
We will
We'll see
see
you.
you next week.
Bye, Maren. Bye, everybody.
Bye.